Hello, all. It's Dre again. So I am about 1 week away from my 6 month mark, and honestly, I feel like a lot of the changes are kind of slowed down. Maybe it's just because I'm expecting more, and maybe it's because my body's finally adjusting, and I'm not noticing as drastic of changes. Now it's going to be more like slow and incremental. But I have noticed that my jaw around this area is thicker and wider. My face is just more square than it was before. And I think that's all for my face for the most part, besides like I have a lot of scruff right here. And it's really, really noticeable. I don't know if this camera will show, but I'll try. I don't think so. Yeah, you're not gonna get anything. Oh, there you go. Okay. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't. It's a terrible camera, and I'm sorry for that. But I do have like a lot of fuzz here, and it's kind of scratchy. So I know there's a good amount coming in. I also have this one hair. I have one hair right here. It's kind of funny, but it's the only one that's like a real for real hair. The rest are all just kind of like longer, thicker fuzz than is normal for me at least. But I'm not a particularly hairy person on my face, and I never have been. I barely have eyebrows as it is. I mean, look at those bad boys. I don't even pluck that or anything. I used to kind of like clean up the shape, but I really never had much of an eyebrow, so, maybe that's kind of why. But the rest of me, my legs are super hairy in places I did not expect. So that's a big change for that. My hands and arms are a lot more, like, you can see veins. Okay, check it out. If you can see, like, just the vein in my arm right there, kind of popping out. I don't know if you can see it. Anyway, right up there in the front, and that muscle and everything. So I've never had very veiny. I mean, I've always wished that I had veiny hands, but I've never had veiny hands. I've never had veiny arms. I wish you could see kind of like the vein right here, I've always liked that, but those are actually starting to come out, which is kind of cool. I could see the veins in my arms a lot better, so when I get my blood drawn, they don't have to stab me 7 times, so that's cool. Let's see, I think one of the things that people have been telling me is that I'm more spacey and not as good at paying attention as I was before. I have noticed that it feels like my ADD's gotten like slightly worse, but not in a sense that it's like really drastic. It's just people that are very close to me that have noticed. Like my roommates have just made comments here and there of like, I seem more like a boy, and which kind of annoys me a little bit. It's funny because people keep doing this thing where like they act like a lot is changing or something in terms of now that you started your like medical transition of everything, like all this stuff's gonna change, like now you're becoming a real boy. I feel like a fucking Pinocchio. What the hell? What is that about? It's like people say something like helping somebody move furniture, and it's a girl, and she'll say something like, hey, can you help me move this last piece of furniture? Like, yeah, sure, I mean, of course. And then she'll say something like, well, this is what it is to be a man. That annoyed me for multiple different kinds of reasons, but let's not get into that. The funny thing about it is that I've always been that type. I've always been that kind of person. So it just throws me off, and that's just one instance. There have been multiple of these kinds of situations where people are just kind of making it seem like, oh, ta-da, now you're a real boy. This is funny. And a little bit annoying, to be honest, because it feels like the medical transition is more important to people than it should be, whereas people discount a lot of the time some of the other stuff, like the fact that people aren't doing medical transition because they can't, or because they don't want to, for one thing or another. I don't think it's fair to only really recognize that somebody is going through this process when they decide to do it medically. That doesn't seem right. So that's something that's been kind of bothering me a lot more. Even though I am doing medical transition, it seems like that's just like the highlight for everybody else. It's like, oh, I guess now once you start looking more like a guy, then we'll call you he and that kind of stuff. And it's frustrating because that's what you're tied to. You're just tied to like a visual thing, and people are so simple like that. And for me, it's so much more complex, and I think that it's more complex for every dude that I know in general. I don't think that their gender is only skin deep. So I don't. That's probably one of the things that is bothering me the most right now. Besides people just taking a little too long, because I'm impatient. I want things to happen overnight. I want everybody to just get on board with me, Anyway, that's like the main psychological stuff. I've noticed I'm a little bit thicker. As kind of like a comparison from before. Yeah, you could tell there's like a lot more meat in my arm, and definitely more defined than it was before. Again, I'm still not working out. I have not been working out at all. I've actually kind of got more of a gut, and it's like in the stomach, lower stomach area. It's a different shape than it was before, but definitely have gained some chub along with the muscle. So it's not all sunshine and roses as we would hope. Maybe it's not magical. You kind of have to work for it just as much as you did before. My voice, I don't feel like has changed very much for a while. This is kind of where it's just been settling, what you're hearing now, and it doesn't really have as much of a fluctuation of like that up and down kind of like higher and lower sounds to it. It's just consistently this. Besides that, I'm getting my top surgery done May 18th with Dr. Esther Kim at UCSF. So that's really very exciting. So I'll keep you guys updated on that too. I'm not really one to share too much. I feel like it's important to document this stuff, but I find it to be very uncomfortable to be in front of camera, so I can't be the only one that feels like that. But I'm trying to be as open as I can be for anybody and everybody that might be interested in, kind of documenting this transition with me and walking through it and seeing what happens and all that. So thanks for watching, and if anybody has any questions or anything they want to tell me, comments, whatever, you know what to do. So thanks for stopping by. See you guys later.